Hi everyone, so today we will be starting with our first chapter, that is price and money. In this chapter we are going to study about numbers and variable. So before moving forward, let's try to understand why we should learn Python. So there are multiple reasons. The first reason is it's easy to read. The second is it's fast. Now when I say fast, I don't mean to say that Python is faster than C++. What I mean to say is if there are two developers, one is writing the code in Python, the other one is writing the code in C++, the Python developer will finish the work faster. And the third is versatile. It can be used in multi-purpose, like it can be used in stock market, it can be used to analyze the data, it can also be used to figure out the loan default by using machine learning. Before writing the code, you need to understand a software called as Python interpreter. If you wish to run any Python file in your computer, you need this software. What this software will do, this software will convert the high level language that is Python into a low level language that is zeros and one. So you just have to go to their official website, just download the software, install it, and then you will be good to go to run any type of Python file. Once you run this software, you're going to see this 3 symbol, which means that the Python interpreter is running, and on this console itself, you can write the code and see the output of your Python script. So now we will start with mathematical operator. The first operator is addition, then we have multiplication, which is by using star. Then if you want to do exponent, that is if you want to write 2 raised to 3, you have to write 2 double star 3. Then you have subtraction. If you want to minus 2 number, you just write 10 minus 5, it is going to give you the output. Fifth one is division, that is suppose if you want to divide 30 by 6, you will write 30/6. Now when it comes to division, there are two things. One is the quotient and another one is remainder. When you use slash, so it is going to give you the quotient. In this case, it is 5. Suppose you want the remainder. So let's say that you have 10 divided by 3. Now in this case, you want the remainder. So you will use the modulus operator. This percentage is called as modulus operator and it is going to give you the remainder. In this case, the remainder will be 1. Integers and floats. Now in Python, there are different types of value that we will be needing. So the first type is the integer. So integer is any type of whole number, whether it be minus, plus, every type of number is considered as an integer number. Then we have the float type of value. Float type is any decimal value. Any decimal point number you see, it can be called as a float value. Then we have order of operations. So just like we have this BODMAS rule in maths, similarly we have a rule called as PEMDAS rule, which goes as parenthesis, exponent, multiplication, division, addition and subtraction. In this, parenthesis means bracket. So if you have bracket, brackets will be solved first and then the remaining equation will be solved. So here you can see there are two equations. Both of them are getting the different output because in this case I'm having bracket. So 5 plus 7 is done first. In this case 7 into 3 is done first, because of which I'm getting 26 here. Now let's try to make one project. Okay, let's say that you want to buy a stock and the stock price is $1450 and you only have $60 and you are only allowed to spend 1/3 of your portfolio, that is 60 by 3, which will come out to be 20. I'll repeat one more time. You have $60, you want to buy a stock which is $1450 and you can only spend 1/3 of your portfolio, that is $20. Now you need to figure out how many friends you will be needing if you want to buy this stock, assuming that all of your friends have a similar portfolio size. So let's try to solve this problem. So if I write a code, this is what I'm going to write in the beginning, which is 1450 divided by 60 divided by 3. If I do this, I'm going to get 8.06. But the problem is it's doing it in the wrong way. First, it is dividing 1450 by 60. I'm getting 24.17. And then that 24.17 is divided by 3, because of which I'm getting this answer, which is wrong. So if I want to correct myself, what I have to do? I have to add a bracket. So if I add a bracket around 60 by 3, first 60 by 3 will be divided. I'm going to get 20. And then 1450 will be divided by 20. And I'm going to get 72.5 as an answer. But still we have one problem, that is this is a float number. Either I can call 72 of my friend or I can call 73 of my friend. How am I going to call 72 friend, right? So this is a problem which we will try to solve in the coming slides. Now this in front of you is just a normal maths equation. If I want to write it in a code, we have to use the concept of variable. So this is how a variable looks like. So on the left side, you write the variable name. On the right side, you write the value. In this case, portfolio limit is a variable name and 60 by 3 is the value. Now, if I want to do the calculation, I'll write the 1450 divide by portfolio limit, which will be 72.5. Now if I put everything together, this is how my code is going to look like. First I have a variable portfolio limit, which is 60 by 3. Then I have portfolio first stock, which is 1450 divided by portfolio limit. And then finally I'm getting the answer, that is 72.5. Now there are few rules that you have to remember whenever you are naming your variable. The first rule is your variable should not have any space in it. The second rule is your variable should not start with a number or a special character. So these are the two rules that you have to remember. So how will you name a variable if you have two words in your name? Suppose you have swallow limit. So how you will write? You are going to write underscore instead of a space. So this way of naming a variable is called a snake case. That is, you write an underscore instead of a space. There is another way of writing the same thing, that is called as camel case. So here you can see that I have made a variable swallow, and then the second word, first letter is capital, that is L is capital. So this is called as camel case. Now let's try to solve a similar type of problem. But in this problem, a bank want to buy a stock. So what I'll do, I'll make multiple variables. Like I'll first make a variable called as percentage, which is 1 by 3. Then I'll make a variable called as stock price. Now if you notice, the stock price variable, I have not named it completely. I have only named it what I need. So remember this, whenever you're naming a variable, you have to keep in mind that when you will be reading your variable again, you should understand what it represents. And if someone else also reads your code, he should also understand what you have written. So this is one thing that you have to keep in your mind. Then I have made a variable called as bank money, which is equal to 900. Then I have made a variable bank limit, which is bank money into percentage. So if you multiply both the thing, that is 900 into 1 by 3, you're going to get 300 as a value. So 300 is how much a single bank is allowed to spend. Now we need to figure out how many banks will I need if I want to buy that stock, which is 1450. So what I'll do a simple maths. I'll just divide stock price, divide by bank limit. If I do this, I'm going to get a value that is 4.8. Now again, we are facing a same problem. That is, either I can have 4 bank or I can have 5 bank. How am I going to have 4.8 banks, right? So this is one major problem that we faced previously also. So in order to solve this problem, we will use a function called as int. So this is the first function that we are seeing, that is int. So whatever you write within the int function, it will approximate it to a lower value. If it is 4.8, it will approximate it to 4. Even if it was 4.1, it will approximate it to 4. So at the end, I'll just write +1. So I'm going to get 5 as an answer. So what is a function, we will discuss in more detail in the coming session. For now, just understand this much, that function are some magical keyword that allows us to do some magical things. So in this case, this int function is converting a float value into an integer value. That's what this function is doing. So if I put everything together, this is how my code will look like. First, I have few variables like percentage, stock price, bank money, bank limit, number of bank. And then finally, I'm approximating my number of bank. And then I'm adding 1 so that it is approximate to a greater number. So I'm finally getting 5 as an answer. Now let's do some practical for whatever we have learned till now. So in order to do the practical, you need the Python interpreter. Now either you can install it in your computer or you can use the online version too. So in this session, we will be using the online interpreter. So you can just search online for online Python interpreter, and then you will need to go to this website, that is onlinegdb.com. So on this website, someone has already installed the Python interpreter for us. So we don't really need to do anything. We can directly start writing the code. So this is what the template they are giving when you run it for the first time. So you can see in the output screen, it is written hello world. Why hello world is written? Because of this print function. They have also given us some comments, so you can remove everything now and we can start practicing whatever we have learned till now. First thing is variable, right? So let's make the first variable, that is number. Now in this variable, you can either store an integer value or a float value. If I'm storing an integer value, this is how it will look. If I'm storing a float value, this is how it's going to look. Let's discuss some mathematical operator. Let's make another variable called as num2, and in this I'll store 10.5 again 20.5, and I'll write print. Why I'm using the print function? To show the output in the output screen. This is the output screen, also called as console. This is where you will see the output. So in the bracket, I'll just write num1 plus num2. So this is what? This is a plus operator. So if I run the code, I'll get 10.5 plus 20.5. But if you look, the answer is not 31 but 31.0. Why? Because we are adding two float values. Since we are adding two float value, we are also getting a float output only. If you wish to get an integer value, what you can do, you can add this entire thing in an int function. So if I write here int, now this entire thing, that is 31.0, will be converted into int, and I'll get 31 instead of 31.5. So this is how you do addition. Now let's do multiplication. So if I multiply this thing, I'm going to get some integer value, which is 215. So this is how you can try other operators too. So one important operator that I want to discuss is division operator. Now let's say that you have number 1, that is 100, and number 2 is 5. And I write num1 divide by num2. If I run the code, I'll get 20. So this is what I'm getting. If I remove this int, I'm going to get 20.0. So I'll show you. If I remove this, instead of 20, I'm getting 20.0. So this int is converting my float value into an integer value. Now this 20 is actually the quotient. What if I want a remainder? Now if I divide 100 by 3, so I will be getting something, and this is a quotient, this is not a remainder. So if I want a remainder, I can use a modulus operator. Now what's a modulus operator? On your computer, you can just type this percentage. Now if I divide 100 by 3, I'm going to get the remainder instead of a quotient. So if I run the code, I'm getting 1, right? So this is how you do modulus. Okay, so whenever you do modulus, you will be getting the remainder instead of the quotient. This is one important operator that you should remember. Let's see the raise to operator, also called as power operator. So if I write 2 and the num1 is 2 and num2 is 3. So I want to do 2 raised to 3. So I'll just write here double star. So this is going to give me 2 raised to 3, that is 8. So this is how you do, or you use all the mathematical operator. Now let's make the project that we have seen in our PPT. So let's make our first variable, that is percentage. Now whenever you're naming a variable, it's not necessary that you have to name it completely. You just have to name it so that you and someone else can understand this. So instead of writing the entire percentage, I'm just writing PERC equal to 1 by 3. And then I'll make a variable that is bank underscore money. So I'm using the snake case equal to, let's say that bank has $900. Then I need to calculate the bank limit. So I'll write bank underscore limit, which is equal to bank money into percentage. So if I want to see the output, I'll just write print, and in the print I'll write bank limit. So this will show me how much bank limit do we have. So in this case we have 300. Okay, this is how much a single bank can spend. Now I will calculate number of banks. So I'll write num underscore of underscore bank. So what is number of bank? It will be stock value. So I need to make another variable. So let's make stock underscore price. So stock price is 1450. All right, this is what the stock price is. Now I will divide stock price will be divided with bank limit. So if I want to see the output, I'll just write print, I'll write stock price. If I run the code, you will see, oh, I have written stock price. I have to write number of bank. So I'll write here num of bank. So if I run the code now, I will see 4.833. This is what we were expecting. Now I want to approximate this value. Okay, so how do you approximate a integer, a float into an integer? You use the int function. So I'll just add this entire thing in a bracket. I'll write here int. So if I run this code now, instead of 4.8, it will give me 4. Now if you want 5 as an answer, what you can do, you can just add a +1 at the end, and this will give you 5 as an answer. So we came to a conclusion that we need 5 bank if we want to buy this stock, which cost around $1450. All right, so this is how you solve a simple problem.